it was coming to me about that video with Lil Nas X, right? So remember, before he was in the chain, he was shoved down. You saw him fall to the ground, right? And then when he gets up, he's in chains. I was like, it kept saying, something was like, research that again. What does that remind you? And I was like, so I got up and I thought about it, and I was like, you're right. And then I thought about the name. Remember the name Montero, what it means. It means huntsman. It means a beater or assistant to the hunt. Remember, and you'll see, I don't know which part I'm putting this in, but Lil Nas is used as a hunter. He's hunting the souls of the young folks, right? He's trying to, his ideology to grab a hold of the young population, get them while they're young. But it reminded me of, remember, Montero means that, but it also is short for Mont, or like Mont, M-O-N-T-E. Some of the etymology of that word comes from the word Mont, M-O-N-T, which means mountain. And remember, I was joking about I was serious about that. It reminded me of Brokeback Mountain. But where else do we see a mountain, right? And somebody that was, when he's thrown to the ground, that is actually essence of a bowing down. Before he goes into the chains, if you look at the video, he's thrown down, which is symbolic of him bowing down. Once he bows down, he wasn't in chains when he was thrown to the ground. The chains happened after he hit the ground and came up. Then he was in chains. In the movie Montero, which is symbolic of a huntsman, an assistant of the hunt. And then it also talks about Montero, also kind of meaning mountain. And it said in Matthew's chapter 4, verses 1 to 11. We're going to start at verse 8 because I'm not going to go through this whole thing. And again, the devil taketh him up into an exceeding high mountain. Can I get a drum roll? And he showeth him all the kingdoms of the world and the glory of them. That's in verse 8. Verse 9. And it's funny because it's in verse 8. The number 8 in numerology has to do with prosperity and power. That has to do with all of the pomp and the flair, prosperity of power. So if you're a number 8 life path, if your number is a number 8, you came here to be a very powerful force and to become prosperous and successful and health and wealthy. But it's not just for yourself, it's so that you can help others. I don't know where that came from, but I had to share it. But it's interesting that this is at number 8. And the devil taketh him up to an exceeding high mountain, Montero, and showeth him all the kingdoms of the world and the glory of them. Now number 9, and said unto him, all these things will I give thee if thou wilt fall down. What did you see him in the video? He fell down and worship me. Symbolic of him selling his soul. He's symbolic. He had to fall down. And remember, when he's in chains, now he's in chains. He said, I can't leave in his song. He's in chains, and there's one of him on the right side and the left side, right? And he's in bondage, right? And those are symbolic of his handlers. But remember, now he's in arena. And in the arena, somebody's always watching him. Once you bow down, you're always being watched, right? Because you're an asset to this person. They own you, so they got to keep an eye on their assets, their belongings, if you will, right? So, and they're always assigned handlers, and so the handlers are the ones that stay around you to keep an eye on what you're doing. Sometimes they could be assigned to you as a boyfriend or a girlfriend, a husband, a wife, a close friend that is always close, but really it looks like their allegiance and their friendship is to you, but really they've been interjected or inserted into your life. They're the eyes and the ears to make sure you do what you're supposed to do and you stay in line and that you don't leave. You don't leave. You know what I'm saying? If you look like you're about to go AWOL, you want out, they're supposed to report back and let everybody know what's going on. So remember, you had one on the right and on the left. So I just wanted to put that. And then Jesus said unto them, get thee hence, Satan, for it is written that thou shalt worship the Lord thy God, and him only shalt thou serve. So when you saw that fall, him take that dive into the floor, he comes up in the chains, he has now bowed, or he has now fell down, and he's worshipped what? The beast, or the image of the beast, or he's Satan, or whatever you want to call it, those entities. But I also want to go back to, I'm trying to do this in 6 minutes. So I want to go back to, I got to say this because it was just coming back to me. But It says, now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field. Remember, this is taken in the garden, right? And it's symbolic of the garden of evil. And when you saw him going up and ascending down, remember in the Bible it talks about, I saw Satan falling like lightning from the skies. So as he goes up, you saw him descending down fast. He's spiraling on the stripper pole and he's going down. But it's symbolic of, again, they said Satan fell. He took a third of the angels with him. And those were considered like stars. So that's another reason why they say, oh, he's a star. We're going to make you a star. Because Satan himself was considered an angel of light, like a star. That's what stars are. They're big beacons of light. So that's why in the industry they're considered stars. I'm going to make you a star. I had somebody tell me that some years ago that they were going to make me a star. And I was like, and I knew that I would ascend and I could be very prosperous very quickly. But I knew that if you make me, you can break me. If somebody makes you, they can break you. And that's what you see in the industry every day. They make them and they break them. You get out of line, they will break you. So anyway, so I declined the offer. Yes. The Genesis 3:1. Now the serpent was more subtle, right? We went over that. And he asked, remember there was 2 trees. I talked about that. The tree of life and the tree of knowledge of good and evil. The knowledge of it. The knowing of it. And remember to know. Remember when you know something in the Bible, it meant that, oh, I know it. In my mind, I know it. I can sense it. I understand it. But knowing also meant, and such knew his wife. It means that they had sex. When he knew his wife, it meant that, and he knew his wife again. It meant that he had sex with his wife. So sometimes to the knowing, that's why when you connect with people, you connect and you say you become one, because it gives you access to that person spiritually as well. Spiritually and physically, right? And you're intimately in one, you're one. But also you become if they have gifts and talents, you might even pick them up. But hey, if they got some negative traits, you might even pick them up. That's why know who you're knowing. You're having sex with, you're sleeping with. That's why it was supposed to be within a marriage and with one person, because each time you have sex with somebody, you take on a little bit of that person. And that could be even spiritually, you know. And so I know I talked about in this video about entities. I suggested that's it's symbolic. Eve speaking with the serpent, communing with the serpent in the garden was symbolic of Eve having sex with that one. And this happens. This happens all the time. There is a spirit called the incubus and the succubus spirit. One goes to women, the other goes to men. Where does this take place? These are people when they're sleeping, they're having a sensation of sex. There is some being that is having sex with them and it's pleasurable. Sometimes their wet dreams come out of this. And people think, oh, it's just a dream. No, it's not. There's a spirit that is called the incubus. Look it up. And the succubus spirit. And when it comes upon them, but what it does is in this state, in that spiritual state, when it's having sex with them, it's also sucking their life force. So the goal of it is to use your pleasures to suck your life force, to sap off of you like a vampire, your chi, your life force. And so after a while, people continue to have sex with this entity. It's going to drain them. It's going to drain their strength physically over time, but also what they don't realize, there's an exchange. It's good. Oh, it feels so good. But what is the downside? What is the con? That's the pro. There's a con to it. So remember, it's the knowledge of good and evil. The evil thing is it's sapping your life force. It's sapping your energy. And that thing, that incubus and succubus spirit feeds off of that. Don't take my word. Go do your research. So we were talking about in the garden, the word said. When he said that, you shall not eat of the tree of life. And the serpent is talking about it. And she said, he said we shall not eat of it, nor shall we touch it. It was nothing about her touching it, but she was not supposed to eat of it. So we're going to go to the word said. It means to command, to will. Told you about your word. Answer, to challenge. So when he was talking, he was very subtle. He was talking in a way that was challenging. It also meant said, I thought this was weird. And I'm looking at the concordance, the Strong's Exhaustive Concordance. And you got to click on all of it. Not just, you'll give you a little bit, but you got to read the whole article all the way down to the end and see how these words are used. Not just all the way in the way that we think that they're used. So said also meant desire. and to commune. I was like, desire, like, whoa. So it meant desire, right? In the Hebrew Chaldee, right? To say, in one's heart, to avow, to avouch. That's what it meant when it said, they said that tree. So, and then it goes on to say, Genesis 3 and 5, eat. It came from H398. I didn't get a chance to look up these numbers, right? Yeah. It comes, and that word means akal, A-K-A-L, which is akal. That's how it's pronounced. It means to eat. Get this. That's why when we're reading these Bibles, remember, somebody came up with it that said it was an apple. There's nothing in the Bible that says that it was an apple. A pomegranate. There was nothing. It never identified the fruit. You go back and you find in that Bible where it said it was an apple. You will not find it. And now if you're reading something that has been done over, like some new version, but in the King James Version, it never said an apple. It just said a fruit. You know why? Because according to the concordance, when you research the etymology of these words in the Hebrew and the Greek, eat means literally or figuratively. That's why there was no reference to a fruit, because this was figuratively. They were talking in metaphors, figuratively, to consume, to devour, to consume, to enjoy a thing. What? What? To enjoy a thing as good fortune. What? He said, no, the day that even said so. The serpent said, no. See, he knows, God knows that in the day that you eat, that you'll know the good and the evil. So again, this was number 2, to devour, to consume, to enjoy a thing as good fortune, the fruit of good or evil actions, sexual pleasures. So you want to know where I got that from? I didn't make this up, guys. I didn't make this up. I researched it. I've been studying this stuff for years. But anyway, Genesis 3:6. She took of the fruit. When I looked up fruit, according to the concordance, the Greek, the Hebrew Chaldean language, it meant literal or figurative. Even the fruit. The fruit meant literally or figuratively. First fruit or reward. It was a metaphor. As the results of your labor or endeavor, you shall experience the results of whatever it is. The fruit of pride, the fruit of whatever, and then it said offsprings. So now you want to know, where did I get that? That Cain was the seed of Eve and the serpent. There you go. The offspring. So I had to do it because I knew some of you were going to be looking like, that girl is out there. No. I do my research, but it had been years since I had researched this a while back. But this Lil Nas video brought this back, and I was like, okay, where did it? So I said something. Let me go back and give it to you. I'm going to go back and give it to you. And that's the reason for this. So I wanted you to know where I got my information from, and how it ties into this video with Lil Nas. So he sold his soul. And as your children are bumping to this, he's suggesting to your children, he's being very subtle, like his father. Like his father, the serpent in the garden. Call him the devil, Satan, the lower nature, whatever you want to call him. But he's being subtle. Now, he's coming to your children through the form of music, saying, oh, did they say that you're not supposed to have cocaine and hang with your friends? Oh my God, it's so fun. It's so awesome. Like, it's so rad, man. It's lit. And your children are bumping to this and singing it. When you say something, the earring keeps coming off. I'm going to leave it off this time. When you say something, what are you doing? You're answering. You're willing that thing by saying it. You're challenging it. You're putting it out with a desire because with an energy. When you say something, the energy that you put behind it brings that thing forward fast. If it's anger, it makes it come fast because it's an intense emotion. If you're happy, it's an intense emotion. It feels that thing. So now your child is speaking this into existence. Over time, it's possible that they are willing without even knowing. They are commanding without even realizing, just by the pomp and the beat and the dance and the speaking of that thing that Lil Nas has put in his music. And now he's like his father, subtly suggesting. Did they say? Well, marijuana is legal now. You'll be okay, are you? You won't die if you do the cocaine and check with your friends and be in the garden and do what you can. Oh, don't listen to them folks. Oh my God, it's lit over here. You guys gotta come over here. Surely you won't die. Do your homework for the sake of your children.